This is for you.
Forgot to take it off again. Look at that. What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, a.k.a. Philly Fresco. And it is Philly, the podcast, man. We are back. As always, I'm here with my guy, Brandon. What's going on, brother? But today, we have a special guest. We got my guy, Gayle Saunders, right? Let me make sure I'm saying that.
Yes, sir.
How's it going, brother? Thank you so much for taking the time, bro.
Hey, I'm doing good. Despite the pandemic, I'm trying to live the dream, not as a dream team, but still trying to, bring the heat with this Eagles content. But I mean, it feels like it's the one thing that's keeping us going, right? During this pandemic, we got the Eagles, right? Even though it's we still got the Eagles, right?
Kind of. I mean, Brandon says it all the time. At least we got a little bit of drama to talk about in the offseason because otherwise, I guess it would be boring. But I mean, let's hop right into it, man. Like you said, we still got the Eagles. So let's talk a little bit of Eagles. So let's go back. Let's go back in the time, if you will. Let's do our Michael Jackson real quick. Beginning of the season starts. What were your initial expectations for this team? Some people foresaw it to be a rough season. Were you one of those people, or did you have high expectations?
For the COVID situation, I wasn't sure the season was going to start. So I was thinking that was going to be sort of a rocky road, the transition. But for Carson Wentz, I was like, this might be his elite season. Like he might get there. And that was the biggest shock to me. I think it's one of the biggest shocks to the whole Eagles nation, the NFL world. Everyone was like, what happened to Wentz? So obviously that was the biggest shocker to me. This team just never gelled. They never got it together. So
at all. And before you go, Brandon, I want to say I feel like when the season started, we all looked at the division. We looked at the Dallas Cowboys getting new coaching staff. Right. We look at Washington doing Washington-like things all off season. And we look at the Giants and, they're the Giants. And I feel like we all felt comfortable. We were like, we don't have an off season, but we have the same coaching staff. We have continuity. Right. And I feel like continuity just spit in the wind and we were in the back seat putting our head out. And it is just bad. It was a total wreck. I feel like everywhere there's weakness right now. But how do you feel about it, Brandon?
Yeah, that was exactly. I think me and you were just talking about that all before the season started. Was we have our coach, we have all the pieces in play. We might not be phenomenal, but this division's ours. There's no way we're gonna lose this division. We go up 17-0 against the Washington football team, and then boom, it just all fell apart. And honestly, I still don't even have an answer for it. I really don't know how we lost that many games and still almost won the division and then just lost it when it was right there in our hands.
I mean, they had us you thought the season was over, then they brought us back and they made you feel like a certain way, and you're like, and then by the end of the season, you're like, did you just lose? We just want to, we just want to get a top draft pick. We're tired.
Seriously, I feel like the whole season was kind of where we are right now. We're with this whole Carson Wentz situation, which we'll get into, but I feel like we're all just kind of at the point of just make the move. Either piss or get off the pot. I feel is the saying, right? You gotta at some point make a move. And I feel like this whole season, whether it was because the whole division was bad and we always had a chance, or it was just the Eagles love to play with our heartstrings every day. You could never get no rest. Like you said, it was just lose already. So we know what's going to happen. But what are your thoughts, both of you guys? What are y'all thoughts on, Doug Peterson and the season he had and, obviously him now being gone?
I think Doug Peterson, you think Super Bowl winning coach, you think, big balls, Doug, you think when you say the word Doug Peterson, these images appear in your head, but the version we got this year was just yo, what are you doing, Doug? Because you're talking about playing to Carson Wentz's strengths. Where was that at? You're talking about, the whole thing with naming the captains this year was weird. We had the Wu-Tang of captains. Inspector Deck, Dirty Bastard. Why do we need all these captains? It all just got weird. So I feel like at the end of the day, it's just like, did Doug lose control of this team? We were getting like early. One of our writers had a source and was saying that Doug Peterson was going to step down and part ways with the Eagles, and everyone was like, where did you get that from? That's wild. And here we are. They mutually decide to part ways, but that whole thing with his control, I think I think it started early. Another one of our sources was saying that after they lost to Washington is when Lurie and Roseman really got involved, like on the sidelines. After the Washington loss, Lurie let the team have it. The coaches have it, and I think it got out of hand. I mean, you think about Lurie, you don't think about him like meddling. Well, that's the one word I heard was meddling. I've never seen a GM or an owner meddle as much my entire career. One player said.
Wow.
And that's the thing. I mean, I'll let you get into it, Reddit, but man, this season was so weird because, like I said, we thought we had something, we didn't. And I'll be honest, man. When that story dropped from 4th and John, you guys were talking about Doug Peterson. I was an angry fan. I was looking at it. I'm like, no. I don't want to hear this. This is the last thing I want to hear. But for it to come to fruition like it did is insane. And for you, when you brought up, the whole saying that after the Washington game, that makes a lot of sense because I don't think I can remember a time that Jeffrey Lurie has said this much, and he might not have said that much, but he's saying more than, we've ever really seen. So, yeah, I mean, people are saying turmoil in the comments. I don't even think that describes what happened. It was just a complete flip. You know what I mean? Like something switched, you know what I'm saying? Some type of light switch happened and the whole team just went from a loving family having ice cream after the practice to everybody hating each other, having food fights in the courts, food court. So I don't know what's going on. But what are your thoughts, Brandon?
Yeah, it's like Jeff became the quiet Jerry Jones in a sense, where all of a sudden he became super hands-on, but he didn't have a talk show every other day. It's crazy. And I feel like you said, I haven't really, as my whole career as an Eagles fan, haven't really heard this much of Jeff getting involved or the GM being involved to the point where we just didn't know what was going on, who had control of the team, who picked the rosters, who was putting the players in position and all that. It just felt like it was a mess. And just to bring it back to Doug, it's just everything in general, from not making the play calls for Carson Wentz, I know Phipp was the special teams, but agreeing to have Greg Ward back there every other time for punt return, even though it didn't look like he really knew what he was doing most of the time, to then not knowing when to pull Wentz for Hurts. There was just so much going on. And then once we got to that Cowboys game, it's like he did it on purpose. It's like we lost the division on purpose.
Yeah. I mean, we basically did, right? I mean, Eagles
we had
is
the
like
formula.
a thing.
We ran the ball super well, and he's like, "All right, now we're gonna lose. No more Sanders."
And stuff I heard was the players knew that they were, trying to like tank, but they knew it was in the works, but they didn't think they would do it that way. So that's where the players were like, "Yo, you're not kicking field goals. You're not like even trying to win. You're taking Hurts out right now. Like we already took out half the team. So I mean, it was already writing was on the wall, but like the way that they lost, it felt dirty. And there's a code in the streets. I think they crossed that line.
Yeah, and Philly's one of those places. Like, I was talking to one of my friends earlier, and it's like I feel like Philly's one of those places that we understand the ramifications of if we would have won that game. You know what I'm saying? But we're a city, and correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to lose on purpose. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's better not to win. And I was one of those people to be like, if we lose, we lose. It is what it is. But yeah, like it happened, like you said, it was just crazy. Shout out to my guy Kevin Bacon, says somebody get me in the ring with Howie, please and thank you.
He's about to get footloose.
Hey, he's about to chop it up. I appreciate that $5.
You're right, though. Just the way that we tanked. It's like what would have been believable is if it came down to the wire, you put Jake Elliott out there for a 40-yard field goal to win the game, and he missed it. everyone and their mother would have been like, oh, well, he's the worst kicker in the league right now. This makes sense. But all of a sudden, we have a chance to win. You pull Hurts, and I feel bad for Nate Sudfeld, to be honest. That dude probably wanted to get in there, play well, and now it's just the picture. No matter if he ever plays good ever again, he will be the face of that Tank game.
Tutty, man.
Yeah, man, he's a superhero of that game, man. He went in there and did what had to be done. And apparently he's great. He went into that, was it Dallas that he played against? Was it 2 years ago that we were in 2017?
Yeah,
3 years ago?
That elite moment. He had
he had that elite 0 touchdowns, 0 points. Yeah, that was very elite. But so everybody's talking about Jalen. So I want to ask this. Now, obviously, hindsight is 2020. Maybe the season would have been worse if we didn't go ahead and grab Jalen Hurts. Who knows? Maybe we'd be in a worse situation right now. But what are your thoughts now compared to earlier on Jalen Hurts? Have they changed at all? Like, for example, let me say, I know me personally, I can still say that was a terrible pick, but it might not be a bad player. You know what I'm saying? So, like, where do you guys sit, on the whole Jalen Hurts issues right now, if you want to call it issue?
Well, yeah, I mean, as a franchise, you have to figure out where you see him. Do you see him as the guy, or do you see him as a holding place? Do you see him? I see him as the quarterback on a rookie deal, is where you need to flourish, and I think that's where Howie wants to, he wants to be in that window. He failed the first opportunity with Carson in his rookie deal, but then again, you're at 6, and the value for a quarterback, and you got some guys that are kind of worthy in that range. I mean, it is QB factory over here, but I think Jalen Hurts. I think he flashed in those couple games. He had his moments, and then he had, But I'm not gonna crush Jalen Hurts for a 4-game sample size with no off season and no OTAs and no training camp. Everyone's trying to put his numbers to Carson. Carson's been here for 5 years. Jalen Hurts has been here for a couple months. But the scary thing about Jalen Hurts is his ability to win over a locker room in a COVID type pandemic situation, all the drama they've gone through. Your franchise quarterback is, I don't know where he is at mentally, but you have a rookie coming in here and he helps them beat the New Orleans Saints. I mean, that's impressive for me, but I've not seen enough for me to say he is the guy, but I am impressed.
Definitely.
Yeah. Obviously, we all thought the Hurts pick was just not the best at the time, especially I'm sitting down watching the draft, and all of a sudden, once Hurts' name was called, I was texting Joe what the heck is going on? I was freaking out. Just didn't understand the pick whatsoever. Carson finally, he was healthy for the season, even though he got hurt in the postseason, but that whole last 4 games, even if it was against the worst division in the league, whatever, he still won those games with the players that none of the other teams had, with Greg Ward being the number 1 pass catcher during that time. So the fact that this dude put it all out there, and then we took not just some quarterback in the 7th round, we took a guy in the 2nd round that was a Heisman finalist, a guy that played in Alabama, was able to start. Yeah, he lost his job to Tua, but then he went to Oklahoma and did his thing there. And so, yeah, if I'm Carson, I'm mad. And then if I'm Jalen, you can't put it on him. If anything, I give Jalen credit for what he displayed out there, knowing that Carson was right behind him, knowing the drama going on, knowing that Philly had every Philly fan had their eyes on him, especially with Carson being who Carson is, with half of the fan base just loving Carson Wentz, and that's it. So with Jalen going in there and playing well, and then you could see the discomfort on his face when we were tanking against Washington. I think that speaks volumes about his winning mentality. And then even his press conferences, he was never a guy to try to split the team up or try to say this is my team, I'm going to get that starting job. He was just always, I'm going to do what I can for this team and blah, blah, blah. And just kind of pushed all the drama to the side. So if Jalen's our guy, I already like him that much because of his mentality there and his maturity.
Yeah. I think he lives in that coach speak, he says stuff and you're that's cliche coach speak. He's a coach. He's the coach's kid, but I feel like he lives in that. Like, don't watch out for the rat poison. He has the same for everything, and I feel like what I was hearing from some of the players, they were gravitating towards Hurts early, man. They loved the way his charismatic ways, the way that he held himself as a person. And you just saw Jeff McClain say it, and I was hearing this like early in the season, and Jeff McClain saying that the younger wide receivers have now like sided with Hurts, and now they're practicing out in Texas.
Exactly. I mean, it's only getting worse for Carson. So let me ask you this, because I know me and Brandon differ on our opinions here, but you put the key in the car, Brandon. So I'm gonna put that bitch out of park and we're gonna drive for a second. So what do you think about Carson Wentz's silence? Do you think he owes an I don't even want to say do you think he should give an explanation, or do you think at this point he should just stay silent?
Are you asking me or are you, Brendan?
You, I'm asking you. I know Brandon hates my answer. So.
I think if he would have just put one tweet that said "run it back," it would have shut the whole city down. Like, it wouldn't even if he didn't believe that he was coming back, it just sets up a scenario where that you don't look like you're the bad guy. And like Eagle fans, like as you get older, you realize the media controls some of the narratives. They put stuff out there. You have to realize who's saying what. So if the way he's looked at right now, it doesn't look good. It looks like he wants out. And I feel like stuff we were hearing, like the issues with Howie and Carson were real. Like I think Howie crossed some lines. No. And I figure but they knew this. They knew what was going to happen if they benched Carson Wentz. They knew where this was going. Like, if Carson has that ego and he's competitive, you bench Carson Wentz for 4 weeks. How's he supposed to feel? You know where it's going. So if they're poking the bear, you knew it was headed here. But I feel like I feel like as a teammate, if I was his teammate and I'm seeing all this stuff and you're not talking to me, like, yo, Carson, where you at? Like, get on Xbox or PS4 right now. Like, let's run some Warzone. Nice. Let's talk over this like some real men right now. Or if he's not telling me where he's at, then I feel a certain type of way. Because if you have anyone who play football, you have those teammates. I mean, these are your brothers, man. Like, if you're not connected, then I know it's a business. It's a business. But again, the way he looks out there, and then, he used to get killed for putting out like charity messages. Oh, he's wearing red. He's going to 49.
He's going 49.
He's for real, man. Look, Philly, I guess we're kind of, part of what Philly media is at this point, because we all drum up some stuff. But I guess we haven't really helped because we have nothing to really go off of. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm not like dived deep in it like you guys are. So I'm just kind of talking. But, at this point, like, not being able to be on the field, at games, on the field, close to people, it's a little bit harder. So they're going off sources. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot less in there knowing what, you know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. So like, it's a little bit different. So I know it's hard to really jumble through all of the news stories and really because we hear one day that Carson Wentz hated this person, then the next day he hated that person, then the next day he fired his maid because she was a Cowboys. It's like, every day it's a news story. So it's like, and we all, that's all we have right now. But I mean, for me, Carson got to say something. Carson, you just, and like you said it, you hit it on the head. You just can put up an Eagles emoji. You can just put a fly Eagles fly. You can put like you said, a run it back. Anything just to shut people up. And that helps your team. Because not only you, like every interview that you see Jalen Hurts at, if you see an interview for Darius Slay, you see an interview for this guy, that guy, what's the first question they're going to ask? Is about the quarterback situation. And that's not fair for anybody, especially these young wide receivers. I don't feel this early in their career and the coaching staff, this early in your tenure here, you shouldn't have to deal with something like this. And I feel like he could have stopped it. You know what I'm saying? That's really where I'm at. But Brandon, how do you feel about it? I mean,
at this point, it's hard. It's hard to really know what's going on. Like I find it hard for me to believe that Carson hasn't hit up anybody, like any of the players, and kind of told them what's up and maybe explaining why he's not reaching out to the media or whatnot. Maybe he's just mentally drained and needs that break. But it's tough. You're in two situations where both of your quote unquote star-ish players are not going to be there next year. You got both guys on contract. Zach Ertz did his whole speech as if he's not going to be on the team, and then you have Carson that's just not saying a word. So it's definitely tough and it's weird. But like you said earlier, at least it gives us something to talk about, something to really kind of like sit back and look forward to, see what's going to be different. It started with the coaching and everything like that. And now that we have our coaches and everything, now we get to sit back and keep talking Carson. But we still don't even know what's going on with Ertz. Is he going to be here next year? What's that trade going to look like? What's his value like? No one's talking Ertz because this Wentz drama is just overriding everything.
Yeah, everything. And I mean, it is what it is. I hope that we get an answer soon. We were supposed to get an answer within the next couple of days. Those next couple of days seem to have, come and gone. But that brings me to my next question. Like, do you guys think that the value that this franchise has on Wentz is realistic, or do you think that they need to maybe come back a little bit on what they're looking for?
I mean, I think the value, you have to shoot high. I mean, that's the game of negotiations. I mean, I work in a business and legal fair department over at Nickelodeon. I mean, that's what you do. You negotiate. You shoot high. you shoot high with the 2 1s and some change or something. Hopefully, you'll get the 1, the 3, and a player of some, mix. Now we're what was it? 2 2s,
2 2s,
and a player. So that's the media. You're using the media to play off like, hey, you ain't getting that. You ain't get those 2 1s. You ain't get the 1 and 3. We're coming with 2 2s. So now it's like Howie. If you're gonna do the 1 and 3, just do the 1 and 3 and let's get it over with.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. You need to just get this thing over with. How you feel, Brandon?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, when we were talking about what Carson's value would be, we were like, dang, if we can at least get a 6 for him, we'll be okay because of the way he played this past season and his contract and everything. But now that talks have been around like that first round pick, that second round pick, you just got to go with your gut and not overshoot and just not try to keep pushing everybody to give you the best value out there for a guy that, one, they have to accept on their books with the cap coming down a little bit, and 2, they don't know what they're getting. They don't know if a change of scenery is really what Carson needs, or has he regressed so much that this is just NFL Carson and he had his little stint and it is what it is and he'll make his money hunting and all that stuff. I mean, who knows if football's even at the top of his priority list with life. I mean, it is what it is. Everyone's able to have their own priorities and what their interests are in life, but who knows if this is Carson's like passion at this point.
And if he restructures his deal to make it even easier for him to get out, that's got to tell you a lot about, he's just like, I want out. Like if he's that there was that news, I think it was Mortensen who was saying, Chris Mortensen was saying about helping facilitate the trade. If we see that facilitate part with the restructure, that'll be saying a lot.
Yeah, I think the silence has put, and a lot of shout out to everybody that's in the chat. We got 32 people in here. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe. Go check my guy out. I got all his links in the description to his podcast and to 4th and Jawn, the actual website. So if you aren't on, come on now, you already know what to do. But a lot of people give me heat for this, but I feel like they don't want to believe it until they hear it out the horse's mouth, which I understand and I totally get that. I appreciate it. It is what it is, But I feel like the silence and the keywords that people are using, you know what I'm saying? And when I say keywords, I mean, if you go back to, Jeffrey Lurie's press conference or Howie's press conference, you hear a lot of, we want to keep him. We want to. I feel like if you know that your guy's going to be here, there wouldn't be a want there. There would be no, he's my guy going forward. You even look at, when Nick Sirianni had his press conference, when they asked about the rumors with Carson Wentz and everything, it was a lot of, I can't speak on it. It wasn't, you're handcuffing these guys. You're handcuffing this coaching staff because you can't speak about something. So, you can't put your full faith into this team until you know who your team is. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we'll let that die a little bit. Carson's a heated topic.
Just a quick question, just to keep it on Carson for 2 seconds. If you guys were Carson, how would you guys feel when the organization keeps continuing to say, oh, we can fix him, we can fix him? What if you deep down inside don't feel like you need fixing, and all you're being told is fix? Like, I feel like they're putting Carson in this spot to not want to be here. Like, how would you guys feel if you were in Carson and granted, he says he doesn't listen to the media. I don't buy it. Everyone does at this point. It's just 2021. It's everywhere. But like, if you're constantly being told that you need to be fixed, how could you, especially as a competitor, how would you feel about that?
Well, I think Carson Wentz is like Mr. North Dakota, big man on campus. He comes from a place where, he's always been the man. Coming into Philly where the magnifying glass it's immense. Everyone's watching every move. All the things that have happened in the past, are the past, but not in Philly. Everyone brings up everything. So at the end of the day, like, he has things to fix. If you go back and watch the film, you could look at the pigeon-toed foot, the mechanics. I call it the sailor. I've been calling it the sailor since his rookie year. I've seen every training camp was there, everything till the day he got hurt. I've seen so many versions of Carson Wentz that it's like I know his game, and then to see him this year with the mechanics, and this is I'm actually going to the scouting academy right now, and we choose one of our players to go back and watch. I chose Carson Wentz, and I'm like, oh my God, it was depressing the way his mechanics have like how did he get here? I saw that. I saw the video of the reaction of the
oh my God
throws. I was like, I'm looking at your face like, I'm sitting there like, I was like, that's how I felt watching his film this year. And if you just hope that he can learn as a pro, he's got to learn. He's got to go get back to that. If DeFilippo was the guy that kept him in check, he's at the Bears now. Press Taylor is with the Colts, and Reich is there. If that's the incubator system that you need to succeed, and you feel like you're not getting it here, then I'd be like, peace out. Like I want to go to a place where I can succeed and people that believe in me and speak to me the right way. Like,
Yeah, facts. I mean, I wish I was a fly on the wall in a lot of these like meetings or just like talks, because it's a lot of questionable things have been happening. But with Carson, I know we've talked about this plenty of times, Brandon. I always give you a hard time about it, but I could care less about his feelings, man. I seriously, I cared about his feelings. I love Carson, and I think Carson is an amazing person. As a person, he's a great person. But when it comes to my football team, you are a football player to me. You're not a person. I'm sorry. That might be, disrespect, but that's how you have to look at it when you're trying to be like unbiased. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I'm a fan of him. Yes, I'm a fan of the team, but I feel like you said it best, Gayle. I think if you can watch your tape and seriously sit there and say you don't have an issue, you have an issue. Like if you can literally look at that and say, nah, I'm good, run it back. There's a problem here. Like, there's a real problem here, Wentz. Like, you should be like, oh, bet we're going to get a new coaching staff. All right, word. Oh, this dude's been working with mad good quarterbacks. Word. Thank you, God. Like, we spend so much time as fans, and it's rightfully so. Don't get me wrong. We spend so much time, and I'm in this category too, worrying about like that we didn't get this guy, we didn't get that guy. We could have fixed him if we got DK. We could have fixed him if we had Justin Jefferson. Let's look at the players that and the team that we did build around him. Yes, the coaching was terrible this year. Yes, there was 14 different offensive lines. Yes, our number one receiver, our first round pick receiver, didn't play for 9 games, I think, something like that. Alshon, Djax, they were gone. Ertz was gone. Goddard was gone. Like there is so much more to than just, Carson. And you can use that against me because, then you can say, why give up on him? But I feel like he's giving up on himself. I feel like if you don't want to fight, if you really believe there was nothing wrong with last year, I have an issue with that, especially as a fan. And coaches should too.
I mean, it's in the like the fight song. fight Eagles. Like, yo, I want to see some. I want to see some. I want to see some fight, man. Like, I don't want him to come back with some finger waves, trying to out swag Jalen Hurts. Like, yo, like I want him to come back and like, yo, this is my team. Like, it's because of my run in 2017 that we got to a Super Bowl. Like, I was a part of that. I don't feel like I'm getting that from him. And again, if that's his faith, and he's trying to be humble and not like rock the boat. Like, I need you to rock the boat, tip it over, bash Hurts over the head with the oar. I don't care. I need to see some real heart right now.
Yeah, I think that's what we were all looking for all season, was just to get a glimpse of the camera on the sideline that showed him freaking out, like just yelling, kind of like what Tom Brady or Peyton Manning. Like, there's been different sound bites of Peyton Manning yelling at, I think, Jeff Saturday, like, no, you block. Don't worry about the offensive plays. Like, just worry about blocking. Stuff like that, like where you see the passion in him, but he's not going over the top where it's just straight disrespectful or anything like that. And I feel like we never saw that. Or even him and Doug Peterson talking on the sideline, I felt like we didn't see all season. As soon as Hurts went in, every time when the offense was off the field, you saw Hurts and Doug Peterson chit-chatting on the sideline. But I feel like we were missing that with Wentz all season. And I don't know, there must have been something writing on the wall or something happened at one point during the season where everything just went.
Yeah, I can't.
What do you think that? What do you think that was, though? I mean, that's the part. Like, what happened? Like, what is that one thing that happened where, you know, they flipped the switch and was like, "Yo."
Oh, go ahead.
I'll say this, and I'll make it quick because I was gonna do a video, but it just took too damn long, so I just said whatever. And he's about to get traded anyway, so I was like, whatever. But I was doing a video. I was starting a video where I went through the Washington game. I got to like about 6 game, and I was gonna go through all his mechanic issues because I feel like there was and I don't want to say it was wrong, but I feel like there was a perception that after, you know, halftime, everything changed for Carson Wentz. Realistically, he came out with the mechanical issues. I feel like that offseason killed him, or a lack of offseason, I should say. You know, he really didn't get to work on his mechanics. And then from there, it snowballs, right? Because like when your foot's not in the right place, your arm's not going to be in the right place. When your eyes or when your shoulders aren't correctly pointed, then your foot's going to be in the wrong, you know, so then it snowballs. Then it becomes a mentality thing because it's in Philly. So now every time you make a mistake, you got a Jalen Hurts behind you. So I think that it's not one thing. I think it kind of snowballed and snowballed and snowballed. Sure. And to his credit, he tried. I'll give it to him. Wentz really did try. I just think, you know, he was gone from the start, to be honest. I really do feel like he was gone from the start.
One of our assignments at the Scouting Academy was to look at the first game and the last game and to watch what has changed between their game between the first and last game of their season. And it was frightening to watch how his mechanics were from the first. You know, they were bad the first game. When you got to the Packers game, he was like a shell of himself. The fact where he was like seeing ghosts, and I that's when I stopped. I was like, I can't watch any more film on this because I've seen I was hurt. I'm hurt, dog. I'm hurt. Don't ask me. I'm hurt because I'm like we've seen Carson Wentz, the highs and the lows, back to the highs, riding into that playoff season last year. You know, the concussion. I've heard stories of when he got hurt and he hurt his back, he was they put a shot in his back and they had an NFL Films clip, but he was mic'd up. They couldn't use the clip because his back was hurt, and he's like, I can't feel my back, and he's in there playing, and they couldn't use it. Someone was telling me about the clip, but I've seen the levels of his game and the mentality, and just to see him in that light, it was sad because I'm like, bro, I don't know this. I don't know this version. It's the first time I've seen that version of Carson Wentz.
Yeah, and it sucks, man. Because I feel like Philly's Eagle fans, I love y'all, bro. I love all y'all. Shout out to everybody. We got 40 people in here. I love y'all. I love Eagles fans. But, man, we are rough, man. We are rough. I mean, I know as soon as I got Photoshopped, but nobody was saying it. But, I mean, we are rough as a fan base. We will let you know if you're not playing well, so – and we can sit here and say it wasn't really his fault. There was a lot that went on, but you got to be willing to fight. especially in this city. You just have to be willing to fight. Which brings me to my next topic. I want to ask you guys about this coaching staff. I feel like finally we actually got all the at least big positions filled. So we kind of have a clearer picture going forward what we have. What are your guys' overall thoughts about Sirianni and the squad? Like, how do you guys feel he's going to do this upcoming year?
I think Sirianni will give you a breath of hopefully fresh air. I think his idea of like playing to players' strengths, that's one thing that he likes to do. It's trying to not have they try to figure out what their players do the best and they play to those strengths. I think you look at Doug Peterson last year, not playing to his players' strengths. What did Jalen Reagor say about his game? He said, my game is like Deebo Samuel meets Tyreek Hill. Did we ever see him in bubble motion, like bubbles, jet sweeps, screens? It took, the way that they utilized players last year was horrible.
Right.
So I think if Sirianni plays his players' strengths, kind of gives, the support that's needed, that relationship between the head coach and quarterback, that's essential. I thought maybe he'd play fix-it mode with Carson. That's not happening. I don't think that's happening. But I think he's going to give us, what you've seen from the Colts offense. I mean, you got to be excited. I mean, they've had some juice.
Yeah.
The offensive coordinator that helped out Herbert, he's done a good job there. So I mean, I'm trying to show some hope. Eagle fans already tried to kill them and bury the man in the opening press conference.
Eagles fans and everyone around the world. Shannon Sharp was making jokes on Twitter, and it was just rough for him. But it's okay. I feel like I'm confident that he'll get better at that. Just like players need to get better, the coaches need to get better at press conferences and everything. I'm actually excited in a sense because, like you said, it's something new. Like now we're going to get to see a new offense out there and hopefully a competent one. Like you said, get Reagor into jet sweeps or into bubble screens or something. I think Doug Peterson, I got so excited. I looked at my wife. I was cheering. Doug Peterson finally did a reverse with Reagor or jet sweep, something along those lines. And he only got 2 yards. But I was excited that he ran the play. I was like, let's go. He's going to use it. Didn't see it again for like the rest of the season. And the same thing with like a bubble screen. They did it like one time, got a first down. Never saw it again. So just using, like you said, using the players to their strengths and really maybe even in like knowing, I don't know if they know the culture or anything like that, but they're younger. So you would assume that maybe they're just more in tune with these younger players, kind of similar to how Hurts is, maybe the way that Hurts' his personality and him coming fresh from college and just being able to be one of the guys and knowing exactly what people are into and his own interests and everything like that. That could have drove Carson off. I mean, Carson, like you said, from North Dakota, he was the man of men up there. Everyone loved him. Everyone, like from the college ranks and I'm sure in high school and middle school and youth league, everyone knew Carson Wentz. And then he came over here where he had to prove it. He proved it. But I think everyone fell in love with him so fast that it could have all gone to his head, where at least Hurts comes from a place where he played in the biggest stages from college. Like he played at Oklahoma and Alabama. And then to come to Philly, I can only imagine it's not much different. Maybe we're just a little bit more passionate because it's a bigger fan base. But Alabama and Oklahoma are no joke.
I mean, Bama and the Oklahoma.
I could be wrong. Oklahoma and Bama could be wilder than we are. So if anything,
I don't know about that, but they
close.
They close. They close. We're giving them respect, Brandon. We're not giving them no trophy.
Needless to say, Hurts is used to this kind of stuff, and now I lost my train of thought. Go ahead, Joe.
You're welcome. I feel like he's been through a lot of adversity. That's the thing that Jalen Hurts has. You said that he has a lot of coach talk, and I think that's from being in the coach's office so much. I mean, I read an article. I forget who wrote it now, of course, but I read an article saying that somebody actually quoted saying he was in the coach's office so often they thought he needed a cot. I mean, that's what you want from $100 million man. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people try to make the comparison of where Carson is as far as him wanting to leave and not compete to where Jalen Hurts was a couple of years ago, not wanting to compete in Alabama. Huge difference. That is a huge difference in my eyes. Like it's not even comparable, to be honest. Like you're talking about a man trying to go get a check. You know what I'm saying? Trying to go get in the NFL. Exactly. Trying to get a job. You know, and it's so I have nothing but love, and I have nothing but love for both of them. I'm going to keep, I said this in all my lives, and I'm going to keep that energy. If I got a message right now saying Carson Wentz said, let's go, I'm fighting for my job. Let's go. I'm fighting for my job. Let's go. That's what I want. That's where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? Just tell me you down. That's all I need to know. And maybe somebody's telling him the wrong information. That's very possible too. There could be somebody putting bugs in his ear.
Like I want Carson Wentz to be like Bruce Lee when he cuts himself and he's bleeding and he tastes it and he's like, yeah, you know, like I want that level of like crazy, but I want that level of like, you know, I got this. Like what you know, I'll do whatever it takes. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And yeah, and somebody in here, I'll try and like I always lose people's comments, but somebody in here, oh, here we go. He said, Wentz is a tough guy, maybe not mentally there yet, but he is a physically tough guy. I think that's 100% true. I think that's a perfect way to synopsize that.
Threw a touchdown.
Well,
like, bro.
his frame is elite. Like the size, the arm talent, just the like. You could go back and like plays against the Carolina Panthers, where he's willing to put his body on the line. You know, the Rams game where he dives head first, tears his ACL, comes back, throws a touchdown on tore ACL. Like he's got that in him. And it sucks to just watch the Packers game and he's like, yo, who are you?
I don't know. Space Jam happened. They took his powers.
Yeah, we gotta find that ball. We gotta find that ball. Tell everybody to put their hand back on it, man. So let me ask you guys this. Well, actually, I want to ask you this before, because honestly, this has been slipping my mind, and I wanted to ask you. I forgot you worked with Nickelodeon. I wanted to ask you about that. I don't know if you had anything to do with it, but the whole Nick playoffs thing that they were doing, I just kind of want to get your opinion. I thought that was really cool. I found myself actually watching it as a grown-ass man on Nickelodeon. But, you know, I just kind of wanted to get your opinion on, like, kind of how you felt about that. I mean, obviously, it's his first year.
Creepy old guys watching Nickelodeon. But no, they talked about it, like, you know, for months ahead. And I was like, really? I was like, yo, this is innovative stuff. I think it's great for the brand. It got people talking. It was trending. All the kids loved it. You know, people in the office. I mean, we were in the virtual office. People were like, you know, yeah, we did a great job. Yeah, I was like, all right, you know. But and then they did some stuff for the Super Bowl as well. Try to run it back, but hopefully that they're thinking about doing that for other sports and activities.
That's cool. Yeah, I really like that. Just like, I know it's a random question, but like I have younger nephews and, you know, a lot of kids and stuff like that. So it was kind of cool being able to kind of connect them to the sport a little bit differently. You know what I mean? Maybe in a way that we wouldn't have been able to before. So that was definitely cool. Now, let me ask you guys this, and then we'll probably get out of here pretty soon. But I want to ask you guys a couple more questions, probably. I'm not going to lie. But going into next season, all right, let's imagine. Actually, let me not start there. Let's talk draft real quick. Going into the draft, is there any one person in particular that you got your eye on? Are you one of the guys that want to trade back? Where are you sitting on this draft as of right now?
I mean, I feel like it's like you're in like a can't miss area like of the draft. Like it's for that part for Howie. Can you mess up the 6th pick? I mean, you could mess up the 2nd, 3rd. And other picks, but like, can you mess up the 1st round pick? And I feel like when's the last time we've had 1,000-yard wide receiver around here? Like if you're gonna run it back with Jalen, like Jamar Chase is a freaking animal. Like, I mean, we're talking about guys who have like, you know, us drafting wide receivers in like the Pac-10. Like, you know, this is a guy in the SEC who's murdered. He's murdered other cornerbacks draft stock. So I mean, you have an elite guy with play strength like Jamar Chase, wins with the ball in the air. He's dominant. I mean, Jamar Chase is like, how do you like? People are like Kyle Pitts. I'm like, did Jamar Chase? Did he die?
Because is he no longer with us?
Diggs. He murdered Diggs when he played him. He's going to be seeing him against the Cowboys. So I feel like, again, Jamar Chase might not be on the board. Devonta Smith, another animal in his own right. I was telling people that like, how do you describe the wide receiver? I'm like, yo, he's like Devonta Smith is like R&B, smooth R&B. His game's silky smooth. I'd say Jamar Chase is like, I'd say gangster rap. You know, it's in your face. I'm taking it from you. But you know, I mean, again, how do you miss at 6? Kyle Pitts is another guy. I mean, he's got crazy traits for a tight end, wide receiver vibes, dominant. He's a Philly guy too. But you could also go offensive lineman. I don't think Sewell's going to fall. But we could all get spicy too and go quarterback too.
Don't get Joe started. Please don't get Joe started. Don't do it.
Just I was hoping he says it. No, we did before you go, Brandon. We did do our number 6 pick so we're doing a mock draft series. I don't know if you caught any of them yet. And we're doing 30 collaborations. So 30 different teams, they're all gonna pick for their team. And we just did the Eagles one. And we did it with like a bunch of Eagles content creators and a bunch of different sources, but I held them back on purpose from Brandon. You know what I'm saying? And it looked like it was going to be Jamar Chase. We had, what was it, like 4-1 at one point?
Yeah.
And then Kyle Pitts, just like everybody's like, Kyle Pitts. It came out of nowhere. So, I mean, hey, people are falling in love with everybody, but how you feeling, Brandon?
Yeah, I've been saying the same thing. It's just you can't really mess up the 6th pick. We have so many holes on this team that no matter if you pick – let's say Patrick Surtain, you pick Micah Parsons, you pick Jamar Chase, you pick you really can't mess it up unless, in my opinion, you draft a quarterback. If you really don't believe in Hurts and Wentz is gone, or if you draft like a running back or something like that we don't need, you really can't mess it up. And I fear trading back and just not having that security of grabbing one of the top players at their position and hoping that Howie doesn't reach. And that's my scary thing. I don't want Howie to reach for a player. There's going to be guys right there, literally on everyone's leftover draft boards that says, this guy's the next number 1 player in this college draft. And if he drafts someone that's crazy, I don't know. But I'm a Jamar Chase guy. And if they're not Jamar Chase, I pretty much convinced myself that Patrick Surtain might be my second choice because our cornerbacks are just – outside of Slay, it's scary.
Like I don't mind the fact that like that 6 and 10 range. Like if the quarterback's there and a team is willing to like, you know, trade up and you're still in the top 10 and you still get that extra, you know, picks out of that and you still get a Kyle Pitts or like a Surtain or Caleb Farley. I'd be like, all right, but I need alpha. Males.
Yep.
I want a dog. And I think you're not good enough, Howie, at drafting to fuck around. Like this is make the pick, make it make sense, and let's keep it moving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he's in a position, he's in a very, I forget who we were talking to, and they were like, he's probably the only person in the world that can create his own job. Like he basically, you know, made the cap such a bad situation that he can't leave this year. So you can get a lot of people on your good side again if you go and just take the easy pick. You know, Philadelphia would be ecstatic if we had Jamar Chase. I know because they always telling me. But like me personally, I'll make this quick. I won't make a whole spiel about it, Brandon. I promise. But only reason I say quarterback could be an option in my eyes is because, one, if you really don't believe in Jalen Hurts, I think it's obvious it's obvious that you go ahead and you take the quarterback that you do believe in. But two, even if you do believe in Jalen Hurts, we've seen it before that whoever wins that job, or whoever loses that job, I should say, is still going to have value. If Jalen Hurts loses that job, you can still probably get a second for him next year, unless he's just absolutely garbage. Like he's still on his rookie deal. There's still value there. People are always, look at Josh Rosen. People are always going to believe they can fix someone. So I still believe that. And like I said, I'm not saying that they will. I'm not saying that they should. I'm just saying talk yourself into it because we do have Howie Roseman. So you never know.
I'm not trying to get trade value at that sixth pick.
But you have to look at the financial side of things. If you get a quarterback in his, like, if they're supposed to be an elite talent in his rookie contract, that makes sense. Like cornerbacks, you're going to pay out the ass. You can pay out the ass for offensive tackles. Like if you can get, or if you can get a quarterback in that, I'm not thinking that way, but I have to think like how we would think, and what would help him retain his job here longer, if because essentially that starting quarterback is his job security. So how do they look at Jalen Hurts? How do they feel about Justin Fields? How do they feel about Wilson? I don't know. Like that's something like I told some of our guys like, look, we got to talk about the quarterback situation. I don't want to, but it could be a thing.
That would just make that pick last year just even worse. I feel like if now we've asked like all the other creators, but like for you, since we already passed the Eagles pick, what is something that you wouldn't want to see the Eagles do
in the draft?
Yeah.
If they went linebacker, I'd be, some people have been mocking Micah Parsons to the Eagles.
Don't do this to me, man. That's my guy. Don't do that.
Well, no, I feel like he's talented. But have you seen the off-field stuff?
Yeah, it is kind of getting crazy. Yeah,
Did you? That's almost like sexual assault.
And he's got an ego. I will say that. So he's got a. I love the guy. I'm a huge Penn State guy. You know what I'm saying? But I can't deny a lot. I kind of you can ask Brandon. I kind of stopped talking about Mike after a little while.
I was like, yeah, did you hear what he just did?
That's assault, brother.
And my offensive coordinator from college, Coach Soraka, is the offensive coordinator at Penn State now. So maybe I have to give him a call. I'm like, yo, could you tell me about this story about Mike Parsons? Because
seriously, right? Get some insight, or maybe just get me tickets. Either one will do. Either one will do. I love you for either one, brother. You do whatever you need to.
He said like, I'm gonna Sandusky you. Did you see that? Come on.
I mean, and that's true because that happened. I want to say 2 years ago. That happened 2 years ago, and it was like a hazing thing. It's just not a good look.
Not for your top pick. Like your top 5 pick is 6 picks supposed to be squeaky clean, no off the field issues.
Facts. But I mean, hey, if he slips, and we do trade to the Bears or something, and we get their 20th pick, I will be right back pounding the table. I promise you, I will be right back pounding the table.
Yeah, you won't be the only one.
Oh man,
I love him though. I mean, it is what it is. So, all right, like the last, I said like, I hate when people say like. That's like the biggest pep. Anyways, last question I want to ask is to both of you guys, and obviously I'll answer as well. And I want to know everybody in the chat. Let me know what you think as well. What's the realistic outcome of next year? Do you really realistically think that we can be a competitive team, whatever that may be in the NFC East, or is next year just a full-on rebuild? Just get ready to lose. Like, how are you guys feeling?
I mean, people would just automatically say rebuild, but I feel like it's like, you know how important culture is to a football team. Like if your culture is off, it sets the tone for the whole season. So if they can fix the culture, I mean, you got new guys in place all the way around. Mm-hmm. You don't have guys like Deuce, who's great for the locker room. You have some a lot of new coaches. But if they can get the team to rally around Hurts with a pocket full of shells and be like, this is our guy, and team unity is a thing. Unity, I mean, that is a real thing, man. That is a real thing. And if that harmonious 2017 ride was not just about talented football players, it was about players who want to play for the next man. So if the next man is not wanting to play like for you like in last season, I heard that the energy was off before the season even started. Like players were feeling a certain way about this team early. And that's one of the things that shocked me. I'm like, man, the writing was on the wall earlier in the season. Yeah. So I think if they get back to doing that, a lot of things can happen, man. Like we clown the Washington football team. What happened to them? They got a new head coach. It changed the team takes on the identity of the head coach. And that's what they did. So I'm not going to say we're going to rebuild next year. In theory, we are, but I think we can compete. I think.
Yeah, like you said, the writing was on the wall even back when Doug was like, "No, I'm keeping this coaching staff," and like the next day they were gone. Like at that moment in time, you kind of sit back in hindsight and be like, "Wow, things are definitely getting chippy in there." But yeah, we're fortunate enough to be in this division where there's some teams like for instance, the Cowboys on paper look good, but they're just not. They're like dysfunctional, and fortunately, their head coach is kind of old school in a sense, and it didn't even look like he knew what he was doing out there. So we're fortunate in a sense that even if we are rebuilding, I feel like with the right coach and the right play calling in place, we do have players there that could like make plays and get us on the scoreboard or make stops, especially on that defensive line. I was telling Joe the other day, like, I'm glad that we got younger coaching, but I'm glad like at our most important positions, offensive line and defensive line, we kind of have veteran coaches at that spot between Stoutland and Rocker. Like if we would have came in with our linebackers coach that's 28 years old, and that was our defensive line coach trying to tell Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham what to do, there might be something different there going on than getting that veteran dude that looks like he's just his energy. I was watching just Mike's on Rocker, and he looks great. I'm excited to see what he can do with the defensive line. But I feel like we still have a team that can compete in our division, if not win the division, and maybe make some noise. I don't know, but I'm going to be prepared, though. I'm going to be prepared for a not great season. I'm not going to overamp myself to be like, the young guys are going to prevel. I'm also preparing myself.
So no NFC East champions 2021?
No tattoos. No
tattoos.
You sure, Brandon? We could get one. We could get, Philly, put it right in it.
Hey, make us famous.
Make a bet. Ask Pat, maybe someone get great.
Hey, we might have to. I mean, look, we did the predictions all season, and I think we went like maybe 1-15. So yeah, I don't think predicting games is our strong suit right now. But, look, if I had to look at next season and be honest with myself, I think that we do have the talent to be a good team, a decent team. Do I think that we can be competitive in the playoffs? Probably not. You're gonna have to show me a little bit, but I do think that we have pieces in place. Whether it be coaching, whether it be, the young wide receiving core, running backs. I think a lot of these guys didn't get a fair shake last year, whether it be because of injury or, lack of use from the coaching staff or Howie Roseman just being Howie Roseman at times. I feel like all these guys are going to get the opportunity. So do I think we'll be a 10-6 team, an 8-8 team? Realistically, I'm looking at like a 6-10, maybe 7-9 record, but with positives, because the biggest thing I'm looking at is to see progression. I just want to see development, whether it be whether it be whatever quarterback it is, because we still don't know. What I'm saying? Whether it be Carson or Jalen, I just want to see you get better at something, even if it's not, you're a world beater now. Just pick something and fix it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like with Jalen, fix your fumbles. I feel like you fumble a little bit too much. Maybe slide a little bit more. I mean, there's things you can fix. Nobody's perfect. So, that's where I'm at. I think we can be good. I just think it's going to come down to, like you guys said, how the people gel, how people get along. And I feel like Philly's the one football team that thrives off emotion. I mean, I know a lot of people say Seahawks got the 12th man, but we are way more of a 12. That to me, at least. You can't tell me about decibels, bro. We control things on and off the field. Like when we talk, our voice is heard. So, like, I think it'll be good. I think Sirianni's a lot better than a lot of people give him, credit for. Like, I stutter a lot. It is what it is. I still know what I'm talking about to a certain extent.
I feel like if I'd love to see Sirianni in front of a packed stadium. And just the crowd behind him, rooting him on in his first game. Because like you said, you made mention of the fans being at the stadium for the last 4 years in every home game. Before 5 years ago, I was never at the games. But to watch that, how the stadium becomes like a beast in the fourth quarter, or just like those boos rile the team up, it's amazing to watch. That Deshaun Jackson touchdown opening, it was like a wave of emotions. Like I really feel like, I mean, football without the fans in Philly is like peanut butter without the jelly, man. Like it goes hand in hand in Philly. So hopefully we get back to that, man. I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to, man. That is what I'm looking forward to. Well, like I said, man, thank you everybody in this chat. Yo, we're still at like 40 people. I appreciate you guys. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe. Go check the links in the description. Go check out 4th and Jawn, man. Yeah, I appreciate you so much for taking your time coming on here and just talking some Eagles with us,
man. It's always great to chop it up with real Eagle fans. Like at the end of the day, like, you know, when you start talking to people like, yo, this motherfucker's crazy. He's like me.
Yeah,
so it's always a good vibes. You know what I mean?
Definitely, man. And before we do go, we do have CK Birds coming on Tuesday. So definitely come for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. And we got a couple things brewing with ESPN Denver. Not gonna spill too many beans, but we got some things going for the mock draft. So definitely be ready for that. And this won't be the last time you see Gayle. You got something to say, Gayle? About that?
No, I was gonna say maybe a trade with Denver, maybe.
Maybe.
Hey, they cut AJ Bouye. I don't even know how to say his last name. And now they got 30 mil in cap space. So
this will be interesting, man. This will be interesting. I'm excited. But yeah, like I said, this won't be the last time you see Gayle, I'm sure, because I'm gonna be annoying him. I got his DM and his phone number.
I'm
you can't get rid of me now.
No, I'm always around, bro. Like it is what it is, man.
Yes, sir. But everybody, you guys have a great night. Thank you so much for rocking with us. And you got anything to say before we go, Brandon? I'm cutting you off. You good?
No, man. Hey, check out the mock draft series, and we have more things coming up. And not much.
What he said.
NFC East tattoo, Brendan. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I think that's what we're getting.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Maybe 2023.
2020. Okay. Hey, this is filmed. We're gonna remember that. But other than that, guys, you know what it is, man. Fly, Eagles, fly, and we are out here. Peace.